Even if you've been doing this for a long time, it's always good to get an idea as to what tricks other appraisers might use.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast.
Minisode.
Got a quick one for you today. Going to tell you about the brick trick in my measuring. I want to pause here and remind you that we're sponsored by ANOW software. ANOW, of course, is the software that I use every single stinking day of my life. Why? Because it makes everything easier. ANOW.com for appraisers, ANOW.com. All right, folks, most of you are using lasers. Thankfully, holy smokes. I'll tell you, it's been a long haul. When I first started speaking in front of appraiser groups, this was years ago, probably close to 10 years ago, well, close to a decade ago. One of my first questions was, okay, raise your hands if you are using a laser measurer. That was one of the questions. The other question I asked was if they were using a pocket PC back then. It was not a smartphone, but a pocket PC or some type of computer or tablet in the field. And I'm telling you folks, when I first started this, about 20% of the hands went up when it came to lasers, and about 2%, not 20, 2% went up for those using computers in the field. But we've gone from 20% to I think probably 80, 90% now, I would guess. I've asked this question, not recently, because I've not been in front of live audiences this year with COVID, but last year, if I remember correctly, I asked this question at a conference. There was about 300 in attendance, and I think about at least 250 hands went up when I asked about lasers, and probably more than that. It was overwhelming. In fact, I remember saying this is the exact opposite of the answer that I used to receive to that question. So kudos, appraisers, to each of you. Way to go for jumping on board with technology and helping to move the industry forward, right? Way to go. Excellent. Now, let's talk for just a little bit about some of the struggles that you might have. And one of them, as you get into lasers, and even if you've been doing this for a long time, it's always good to get an idea as to what tricks other appraisers might use. Now, I'm going to tell you at the end of the program about a program that you can take called mobile appraising. It's a workshop that I gave years ago and still very much applies to appraisers. And this was a workshop that I gave in front of a live audience that basically went through a lot of these tips and tricks on how to become better at what you do. Because here's what happens. And this is why I offered what's called the 10 House Challenge years ago. You can find that blog on my website. Just go into my website, type in 10 House, the number 10 House, and you'll find it. And the 10 House Challenge is basically this. Don't give up until you have done 10 full houses, okay? Whether it be a new tablet, whether it be a laser, whether it be a different laser, right? Maybe you were using a Bosch and now you're using a Disto, okay? Do not stop, do not give up unless you have given it 10 full houses. Now, you're not going to be completely proficient after 10 houses, but you will at least have an idea that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And that's the goal, right? If you can get to the end of the 10 House Challenge and say, okay, I can see that this is going to work, rather than try it twice, 3 times, box it up and send it back. This sucks. This doesn't work as good as my roller. Forget it. I'm done, right? So the 10 House Challenge very much applies, but there are some tips and some tricks that you can use to help the process go even faster. One of them is called the brick trick. I want to share that with you when we get back from the sponsorship. But first, I want to pause here and tell you about a great program called ANOW Software. Now, folks, I know at this point, if you've been listening to this program for any amount of time, you know what ANOW Software is. We all know what ANOW Software is, right? Okay, great. But are you using it? And if you're not, why not? Oh, well, Dustin, is too expensive. Okay, let me just have you step back for just a second. Okay, let's talk about return on investment. Folks, the quote-unquote cost or price of ANOW, trust me when I say this, is minuscule compared to the time that you are going to get back, that you don't have to spend. Now, I know you can do anything you want with a spreadsheet, right? But it takes time. It takes effort. It takes setting it up. ANOW is done for you. Boom, it's done. Time is money. ANOW is where you need to be. ANOW.com. It's ANOW.com. All right, folks, welcome back to the program. We're talking today about measuring a home and specifically using a laser. And one of the tricks that I have used over the years when there is a brick home involved. Now, many of you don't have brick homes. Many of you, that's all you have. In my area, it's about 20% maybe have brick homes. Now, many of the homes that I do have vinyl siding or metal siding, and they have brick wainscot or brick, accentuated areas. So there's a mixture. But I'm talking in this case about a mostly brick home or an all brick home. Now, when you have an all brick home, a lot of times it can be a challenge. Let's just imagine you're on the side of the house, okay? And on the side of that house is basically a straight line. There's no bump outs. So from one corner of the house to another corner of the house is just a straight line, other than the brick itself. Okay, where do you put that laser in order for you to get an accurate measurement? Now, you can move out from the wall a little bit and kind of angle in and try to hit that corner, and I sometimes do that. But an easier way to do it, if you have a door or a window that you're working with, let's talk specifically about a window. Now, I want you to imagine, you've all seen it, okay? You can put it in your mind's eye. What does a brick window look like? Well, the brick window, typically you have your bricks are going horizontal, okay? Up the wall. From the floor, from the ground to the roof, you've got horizontal bricks. And then when it comes to the window, the ledge of the window on the outside, typically, and this isn't always, but typically those bricks will be turned sideways. Now they're still horizontal, but now they're sticking out to create that ledge. So you now have a ledge on the window. Now because they are sticking out, that is a perfect point to point your laser. And what you can do is put your laser at the edge of the house, and you can nail that ledge that is sticking out on your side. Now, the nice thing is you can hit the plus button, go to the other side of the house, line up your laser on the other corner, and shoot back, not to the ledge, because that would be the other side of the window, and then you would have to measure the window itself, but to the inside of the window itself, to the frame of the window. So your first measurement comes and hits the ledge that is sticking out from the house. Your second measurement is from the other side of the house, pushed back into the seal or the window frame, the brick window frame, or the wood or the metal or whatever else is inside that. But that is going to give you a perfect measurement. If you add those two together, you're welcome. If you want to learn more tips like this, I highly encourage that you take my mobile appraising workshop. It's 4 hours, folks, and we go into detail. I show you my screen. I show you tricks that I promise that you're not doing right now. These will help you to be a better appraiser. Even if you've been doing this for years and you think, Dustin, I don't need any help mobile appraising, I do it just fine. That may be true. I promise you, you will learn something new that will benefit you and be worth the cost of the course. It's found on my website under the Products tab at theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.
One of them is called the brick trick. I want to share that with you when we get back from the program. First, I want to pause. Sorry, editor. Back up.